In this video, we're going to have a preset party here with the Headrush gig board. Hey guys, I'm Dr. McFarland and welcome back to the channel. So here lately there has been a 2.1 update for the Headrush Pedalboard and the gig board, if you haven't noticed already. And what I keep finding is certain features of the new update, you really need to think ahead a little bit and maybe create your presets in such a way to where you can be prepared for any kind of sound that you want, but we need to be able to make those up front, okay? So I'm going to show you my method of doing that, and this drastically helps speed up my rig building process. And it kind of gets me in the ballpark of the sounds that I'm used to using anyways, without having to start from scratch every single time I want to make a preset, alright? So what I have here is a simple rig, and it has all the different overdrives that I normally use. And we're going to make some delay presets and some reverb presets and compression, all kinds of different stuff, alright? So what we're going to do first is just take a look at my preset for the JRC overdrive. So I have a dock scream, and the drive is all the way down. The tone is at 50%, and then the level can change depending on what I'm doing. So let's go ahead and move this over to a block here. Let's take the delay out, and let's put in the JRC. All right. So we're going to put that at the beginning. Now, if I double tap on this, this is the screen that you want to be in when you're saving your presets, all right? You can't expect to change parameters and then go to the main screen and then press save, and then everything is going to be saved, all right? Especially if you want to name your presets a certain way. So what I suggest is we're going to change whatever preset parameters that we want, and then we're going to name it, so that way the next time you go to call up that preset, you're already going to have everything in place. You just choose the preset, pop it into your rig or your scene, and you're good to go. So this is what it sounds like without. Alright, so real fast, I am using a Fender Deluxe dock, which is a Black Lux Vibe preset that I've already made. And I'm going to make a few different presets based on this amplifier because I really like it for its clean tones, but sometimes you might want to drive it a little bit harder than normal, alright? So let's go back here, and if I kick this in, so we're going from a clean sound to something that's more mid-rangey, a little bit more gain, and the volume on the pedal is actually pushing more gain into the front of the amp anyway. So alright, but let's see what happens if we turn up the drive parameter and get a different sound. So we can drag our finger. That's what I love about the gig board here. We can drag our finger up and down and side to side to change the parameters. Unlike the pedal board where we have to have the knobs to do that. So let's just turn it up to 50% and see what happens here. Alright, so here's before and after. I've been on my neck pickup the whole time. Let's switch it over to bridge. Alright, cool. So now what I'm going to do is going to press save. Save as new preset. I'm going to say, so it's going to let me know that the drive is up. And we can look at our other presets. I have a dock scream, a dock TS, and then there's a JRC drive. So now we can go back, and to get rid of that star, we can press save. And that's going to allow me to save the rig. Alright, so here's before. And here's with it on. Alright, great. Let's move on to the black op. And I already have some presets in here. I have a rat low and a rat hair. So what I've done, and what I've seen other people do in the past who have the actual pedal, is they can either use this pedal for a very, very low gain kind of sound, or they can crank it up and get a high gain sound from it. So what I've done here is I have a rat low, which has your distortion around. You kind of have to mess with it depending on your guitar's pickups. But I have mine around the 17% range. Cutoff is around 75%, and then the volume is up a little bit higher because the gain is so low. So here it is before. And here it is with on. Alright, so the EQ changes just a little bit, and you're adding just a little bit of grit. Alright, let's check out the rat hair, which is basically the same. The volume is down a little bit because I've raised the gain up, and the distortion is at about 20%. Alright. Alright, cool. Let's go ahead and make one more preset. So I'm probably not going to use this pedal tons for like a mid-range kind of thing. Probably going to crank it up a little bit more for some overall distortion. So let's crank this up to, let's just play with it and see what happens. So here's my bridge pickup. Now if we take that sound and boost it with the JRC, this is what we get. Notice the volume difference between the on version and the off. So we need to accommodate that with the volume level here. So let's take that down. So here's before. Alright, cool. So let's go ahead and save that. Let's call it Rat Smash. I don't even know. You can name it whatever you want, okay? So let's go through our presets here. We have a Rat Low. Then we have a Rat Hair. Have a Rat Smash. Alright, cool. That is fun. Let's go ahead and do some anxiety overdrive stuff here. So on my pedal board, I actually already have some presets, but I'm just going to create some new ones just for fun. So we're going to go in, and what we have is a high and a low, a drive, a tone, and a level. So on the Full Tone website, there's a manual for the OCD, and there's a lot of gain and headroom on tap with that level knob. So I usually keep mine down around 15-20%, and then adjust the drive and tone to taste. Let's go ahead and see what happens if the tone's all the way up, and we're going to go for a low gain kind of sound. So what I'm listening for is I don't want the volume to actually drop when I turn on the pedal. So I'm going to find that neutral point. So this is going to be a similar sound to the rat hair, where we're just having a little bit of, oomph in there, but not really too gritty. Turn the drive up a little bit more. It sounds good. Let's save this as OCD hair. Okay, why not? Alright, cool. Let's do some more. So let's say if we crank up the drive a little bit, let's play. Alright, cool. Let's save that. This is OCD drive. And let's do one more. Let's do a high gain. So let's crank this up a little bit. Let's roll off the tone just a little bit. Alright, cool. We're going to name this OCD high gain. So now if you look at our presets, we have OCD hair, OCD drive, OCD high gain. Alright, there's some other ones in there. Let's move on to some DC distort. Alright, so we already have a distortion high setting. So let's see what this sounds like. Here's the before. So what I've done with this one, I went ahead and turned that bass down a little bit, because the more gain you have, the less bass you need, in my personal opinion. So I'm going to turn that down. We can adjust the treble. Let's see what it sounds like if we go a little bit darker here. turn it up. Alright, let's leave it like that. So we're going to go ahead and save it just as it is so we can overwrite the DC Dis high preset that we already have. And let's just make something a little bit lower. So let's turn the gain down to maybe around that 20% is. Maybe a little bit more bass. Alright, let's go ahead and save that. We're going to say DC Dis low. So we have a high and a low. So we're just going to keep the two presets like this. I'm probably not going to use DC Distort for anything other than that, because there's other options. So, alright, let's go to the white boost and see what we got here. So here's the clean sound. So let's turn the level down. Let's turn the bass down. Let's just go ahead and save that as WB Dirt. Now let's go for something that's a little cleaner sounding. Let's turn the gain all the way down and the level up. See what happens here. So here's without. Back up. Alright, let's save that. We're going to do WB Grit. Alright, there you go. The same preset can probably be used after the amp for an actual boost. So let's check this out. So here's before. See how it's still clean, but you're actually just boosting the volume and not the gain, because that extra volume that was before the amplifier and was actually boosting the front end of the amp is now just boosting the power amp section, and you're just getting a nice clean boost and not actually adding gain. So that same preset can work double duty just depending on where it is in the chain. And after. Alright, cool. So that's fun. Let's go ahead and save this. Alright, so now let's look at the Dyne comp. I have a few different presets already made in here. We have the dot comp, which you can see the threshold is down. The gain is up a little bit to compensate for the extra squish. Turn that off. Alright, Alright, the knee is up a little bit, but let's go ahead and make another preset here with the knee all the way at 0. Let's raise the attack time a little bit. We'll bypass it. Alright. So that compressor is really squishing things down to where it's making the amp a little bit cleaner because you're not pushing as much signal. So let's go ahead and let's turn up the gain a little bit. And let's ease up on the threshold here. And the ratio. Let's turn down the ratio to 2.1. Alright, so you're still getting a lot of sustain, but we're probably keeping the dynamics of the natural amp a little bit more. So I know I already have a dot comp 4, so let's put in a 5. And that'll be my 5th preset. So that'll give me a lot of different variations, and I already have the other presets on the other board. So when I join forces between all the different block presets and stuff, I'm going to have all the same presets on both units, so that way I can just pick and choose depending on no matter what board I'm on. Alright? So that's good for the compression. Let's go ahead and choose some different reverbs here. Now I do have some Chamber Love, which is a preset I've already made using a chamber model. And this is what you've been hearing the whole time. So and let's turn off some delay. Alright, so here's this. Alright, now we probably don't need tons of different reverb options, so I could easily just go in here and maybe raise the mix up a little bit for maybe an ambient chamber sound. Maybe put it at 30%. Let's raise the time, which we can make it infinite, so okay, that's cool. So let's save that. Then we have that option. Let's go to a church setting. Alright, now it kept the same settings as the other model, but we just transferred it over to the church model. So we still have the same time, same size, color, mix, tails on, and everything, which is really cool about these presets. So alright, so in that case, let's save this as church ambient. Let's make this a little bit lower and bring the mix back down. So now we'll have the characteristics of a church sound, but just a lower decay. let's save that. All right, so our love is going to be just a little bit of love in the room. All right, cool. Let's change this over to a room sound. See what this does. That's not bad. Let's change the size a little bit. Alright, you can definitely hear it's a little bit smaller sounding. Let's make the mix pretty low. Alright, cool. We're going to call this Room Love. Because why not? Alright. Alright, this is fun. Let's go ahead with a hall. See what that does. Let's raise the mix up. Size all the way up. Alright, and the mix back down. Make the size a little bit smaller. Alright, cool. Let's save that. And now let's go ahead and crank up the time back to around 10 seconds. Alright, let's switch this out for the 11 reverb. And we have a lot more options in here. I do already have some other presets made, so let's just take a look at those real fast. So here's a Doc Short. So this reverb model has a pre-delay, which is very helpful. Let's make sure the tails are on right there. And we're going to save that. Alright, this one's based on a rich hall. Here's a Doc medium plate. Here's a Doc Verb long. So this one's also based on the hall reverb. Alright, and that one's a little bit shorter. So let's go and make one from scratch here. And we have a cathedral. Let's turn the mix up so we can hear what it's doing. Okay. pre-delay. So let's experiment with the pre-delay a little bit. So with the pre-delay, you can really let the note stand out, and then you can hear the reverb after the fact. So that's actually pretty good. So let's save that as Cathedral Big. Alright, cool. I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, let's move over to delay. And let's set the delay on a switch. Alright, so here's on. Alright, so there's probably just a few different things I would want on here. Yeah, so let's go ahead and mess with the timing. So let's mess with the depth. And the speed. Alright, let's go ahead and save that as a doc. And let's say 1 and 4. We don't really have a backslash, so I'm going to have to use a different indicator here. Alright, cool. Let's keep the same thing, but we're going to make it 3/16, which is your dotted 8th delay. Alright, we're going to turn the feedback down a little bit. Alright, cool. Alright, let's have a runaway version of this where we have the feedback up pretty high. Alright, that's pretty fun. Doc, BBD. Runaway. Alright, so you can hear the feedback kind of building and building and building and lingering on forever. So alright. That's fun. Let's take that one out and let's put in a different delay. Let's do a tape echo. I do already have one tape echo setting in here, so that one's pretty good. Let's mess with the wow and the head. And let's turn the feedback down all the way. Let's turn the delay. Alright, let's turn the mix down. Alright, cool. So we're going to call this Dock Slap. Fun little slap back delay there. Alright. Not really sure what else I'd want to do with this one. Let's have a runaway version of this as well. Almost sounds like a laser. Interesting. Alright, not sure if I'll ever use that, but it's interesting just the same. Alright, now let's put the delay and the feedback all the way down. Kind of mess with the head and the wow. Okay, we're going to call this Dock Warble. Alright. So that's pretty good for the tape echo. Let's go to pitch delay. I keep changing the parameters on this. I just want something that's very simple. So let's do fall and vanish. We're going to do 0 semitones and maybe detune it a little bit. Alright, I'm not sure if I like the detune. Let's just make it normal. Alright, that one sounds good. We're going to save it as dock pitch delay. And for fun, let's change it over to 3/16, and we'll do the same, but just 3/16. So dock. Alright, so alright, cool. I like that one. Let's do another delay here. Let's do a dyne delay. And I do have one preset for that. Turn the mix up just a little bit. Alright, let's actually turn the feedback down a little bit. And a little bit more. Alright, I like that one. So we'll save it over the current preset there. And let's see what else we'd want to do to this. Probably not a whole lot. I usually just use this as my normal digital delay sound. So don't really need a whole lot of change there. Let's go ahead and make it 3/16. Alright, let's go ahead and do a shimmer sound. I usually just choose the ghost, but then I have to go in and change some stuff about it. So let's try this. Let's bring the mix all the way down to about 5%. Because I just like it barely there in the background. Let's turn it up a little bit more so we can hear what it's doing. Make sure the tails are on. Maybe mess with the pre-delay. actually like that. Let's do it a little bit closer. Alright, we'll mess with that here in a second. Let's make the pre-delay at 0. Mess with the tone. Alright, that's actually not too bad. We'll save this as Doc Ghost. And then now let's do one that had the cool little pre-delay thing going on. So turn the mix down on that, turn down the reverb time a little bit so we don't run away with it. Alright, that's pretty fun. Let's turn on our reverb and let's go with a delay. We got the runaway. Cool, that's fun. All right, what we're going to do now is take these out. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to make a few different settings with the amplifiers, and we should be about done, okay? That's a good overall sound. The thing with a non-master volume amplifier is you're going to have to change the rig output as well. And if you're using a cab or even an IR, you might have to adjust the gain right here in order to make everything sit well with the master output. See, we're already in the yellow right now, which is not really what I want. I want some more headroom than that. So we have a few different options. We can go to the IR and turn that down. Because if we start cranking up this amplifier, it's going to get a lot louder. So. -16. So alright, now one thing we do know with amplifiers is the more you crank them up, the more gain they're going to have and the more compression that's going to be heard on the overall sound. So let's go ahead and crank this up to 60. Let's see what happens here. And I'm going to turn the bass down. Let's turn the treble up. Let's go ahead and save that. Alright, so now for example, let's go in and let's create some scenes so you can see what this does here. That's not what I wanted. So let's go here, edit. So amp is going to be on, preset is going to be the Fender Lux Dock. And everything else is going to be no change because we can just turn those on and off at whenever we want. And then scene 2 is going to be amp on. And then we got Lux Drive. Alright, so check this out. We actually have a tremolo on there, which is kind of fun. Alright, so without using actual gain pedals, we can get more gain out of our rig just by having different presets of the same amp, either a low gain, a high gain, crunch sound, whatever you want. Okay, let's go ahead and do that was kind of fun. Let's take out this amp. Let's bring in another amplifier. So let's work on the new amplifier here, the PV512 clean channel, and we're going to see how clean we can get this thing. So let's warm it up a little bit by turning up the bass. And there is a post on here, so now, if you crank the post up, it's going to add a lot more overdrive. So we're going to keep that down. maybe experiment by turning the pre-gain up. And let's move it over to the neck pickup. Alright, let's check the output. Could probably stand to have the post up a little bit more. Alright, let's save that one. So that's cool. Let's go ahead and bring in a different model. We'll do the crunch sound and let's see what happens. Alright, so the volume on this one needs to come up a little bit more. So let's bring the post up. So let's save this preset to PV51 crunch dock. Alright, cool. And let's change the model to the lead. Let's see if we can get away with keeping the same settings, but just changing the model. So. Alright, let's turn the pre-gain up a little bit. Let's save that. That's pretty good. So really quickly, let's go in here and let's create another scene. So amp preset. And here's our lead dock. And we'll change this preset to crunch dock with the amp on. And we'll turn that amp on. Alright, so I'm going to experiment a little bit here with the no change or on or off status, because if it doesn't make a new instance, will it really make a smoother transition from one preset to the next? Let's experiment with that, okay? So now let's switch this around. So we got our clean sound. And here's our crunch. And our lead. Sounds like the lead has a little bit more bass response, which I kind of like, so this is cool. So let me play a little bit. So it sounds a little bit jumpy right now. Let's go back into our hardware sign and let's have the amp be no change. Because we're always leaving the amp on anyway, so this doesn't really have to be an on-off state. Let's see what happens now. Alright, so I still hear a little bit of a jump between settings there. If you did this between actual rigs, I don't think it'd be as drastic because there's a smoother transition between rig to rig instead of just preset to preset. So because you are changing the instance of the block itself, and so therefore you're not always going to get a smoother transition. All right. All right, cool. So that's all I'm going to do for our preset party. You can go ahead and create more presets on your own, but now that you see the process, you can kind of do things however you want to. And the sounds that you naturally want to go to anyways, just make that into a preset, so that way you don't have to recreate it every single time you want that sound. You just go in, bam, 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 choose your presets, and you're good to go. So thanks guys for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe down below and click on that bell icon so you'll be notified every time I release new content. I am Dr. McFarland. I will see you in the next video. Keep rocking. So if you want to see great content all in one place, be sure to check out drmcfarlandstudios.com. Keep rocking.